This is Gray Man Media content. From Gray Man Media Studios, we bring you behind the scenes of Wolf Takes a Bite. Sit back as we recount the past 2 seasons and tell you some things that you've probably been wondering this whole time. I, John, with my co-host Devin, are going to tell you about some of the challenges we have faced in making this show. So sit back and relax and get into our minds as we take a bite out of Wolf Takes a Bite. Your laugh fucked it up.
No, it was great. All right. So
timing is impeccable though.
So this is right now we're in between seasons. We're actually about to start shooting season 3, but in order for us to continue to put out episodes for you guys, we wanted to do kind of some breakdown stuff. So yeah. So I think this one, they're going to be shorter little episodes, but we just wanted to keep you guys entertained while we're in between seasons. Mm-hmm. And I think John wanted to talk a little bit about where this all kind of started.
Honestly, I don't remember. I was drunk, but
yeah.
So I guess the origins of this was that I ain't talked to Devin in a few years, right?
It was easily like a year and a half because I have pictures of us building mods.
That was one week out of
instance.
A summer.
Yeah.
Out of an entire year that we hung out, and then before that again, still total silence.
Yeah, it was a while.
And he was just like, yo, what do you know about vapes? And I'm like, I don't know. What do you know about crystals? I'm really into that shit right now. He's like, oh, I'm kind of into that too. You want to come over? I'm like, yeah. He's like, but you can't be your normal self, John.
I don't think that's how that went down.
No. You can't bring all the booze. You can't drink like that.
Oh, yeah.
You can't be your normal self, John. And I'm like, all right, man, I'll be chill. So I just brought a giant box full of vape gear.
Well, there was beers.
There was beers involved.
Yeah, there was beers.
I lied.
Yeah. Well, we did. But yeah, basically, we hadn't talked in a while, and I started up, Great Man, and I was like, well, I was looking for people to have on the show, and I reached out to you, and when we did the Down to Earth episode, I think that's when you got you wanted to be involved in what we were doing.
Yeah. Now I've been doing live streams and Facebook live streams and social media content for a long time, but I've never really been able to finance it into the way of a production level that I would want. And I've done some small film acting and stuff like that and done stage theater. And I've always really enjoyed it. And I've talked for years about doing a podcast because I like to hear myself talk.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, hearing myself in the headphones, it's like a mini orgasm every 5 seconds. I totally get it.
But I'll be honest, man, and I'll tell the people right now, and I've already told you this, but when we first sat down and came up with the idea for the show, I didn't think we were going to be doing this. I figured...
No, I figured about a weekend you'd be like, all right, I'm done.
Well, I didn't think you would commit to it either. So I just assumed that this was like a little project we were going to do for a few weeks, and then it would never go anywhere.
Is this a Down to Earth now?
It's a... Well,
a little bit.
Go listen to that show. There's episodes sometimes.
We need to plug that more.
I need more people. But yeah, it was interesting because I had you on Down to Earth, and we had a whole good episode. My grandmother loved that episode, by the way. She was like, I really like the one you did with the chef. And I'm like, oh God, yeah, that guy.
That guy. Little did you know.
Yeah. And but yeah, here we are 2 seasons in, about to start season 3. You're the number 1 show on Gray Man by at least a few dozen plays.
It took off like a rocket too. Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, but that explains why we used the logo we did, because I was like, you came up with Wolf Takes a Bite, and I'm like, all right, well, let's get a logo. and I Googled something. I picked like a decent looking wolf, and I was like, yeah, this will work because we're probably only going to be doing this for a few weeks.
In fact, if I'm not mistaken, you told me in the very beginning, you were like, all right, John, you got to find somebody to do the show with you, or you can do it by yourself. I don't care. I don't want any part of this at all. And I'm like, oh, but Devin, just sit down and record one with me.
Yeah.
And I know you're going to be out of town. Just do one with me real quick, and I'll have guests. I'll get people. I'll do my whole thing. I did get guests in the beginning.
You did, yeah.
And they were great. They were great. And it was definitely a different tone. It was a different kind of show. But then when we did our first episode together, you were very upset with me because of my choice in topics, I think. I'm like, and this was back when, before I even told you what we were recording. I just walked in and said, Devin, today you're going to be fucked up in the head. Yeah,
well, that's another really funny thing that I'm glad we don't do anymore. But like season 1 was, I never knew what we were going to be talking about that day.
I still feel that high, though. I like that high.
And that's where this specific thing comes from, where I know you put it in a lot, but it says, well, let me turn it up.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
So like
that became canon.
Yeah. That's just a little thing that just kind of organically happened because, we'd sit down and you'd say something off the walls, and like, Devin, we're talking about this today, and I'm like, wait a second, like, what do you mean? And you cut it so brilliantly. It was so good. It really was.
Oh man, I'm loving the compliments over here. I'm getting turned red.
It's a different episode,
Yeah. No, it definitely was. And then we ran into a bunch of technical difficulties in that. Usually speech impediment and impairment.
A lot of impairment. On both ends.
And then this was still like, I mean, you were only halfway through your first season of Thoughts from the Mothership at the time, right?
Yeah. We were only, maybe a dozen or so in at this point. So like you were one of the first new shows, and that's kind of like you mentioned, I didn't want to be on the show. It wasn't that. It was more like, I'm already trying to do all this other stuff. I don't know if I'm going to have time to be, a talent on this show. I wanted to come at it as like more of a producer, because that's kind of the role I'm overall trying to get to. But you're right, though. Once we started doing the episodes, I think I told you how like a quarter of the way through season 2, I was like, I really look forward to these.
I could tell, like, by the end of season 1, you're like, shit, that was good.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun doing them, and I was like, okay, all right. And I still can't believe we're doing it still. I really can't.
I mean, it's unreal. Like, I look at Transistor at least twice a month, and I'm just like, oh my God, it's over 2 digits.
Yeah.
Like, we're into 500 right now.
On 600.
600 now?
Yeah, we looked up 2 days ago, and this is Transistor numbers, so it's not 100%. We're probably much more, but just Transistor numbers, we're in the low 600 plays.
I mean, we're at least capping 1,000.
It's very possible.
And also, I don't know about the other shows too, but I know that Wolf Takes a Bite is in like 5 countries right now.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the analytics on the other shows. The only other show that even comes close is Thoughts from the Mothership, which makes sense. It's the one we've been doing the longest. It's kind of our flagship show. But it's not quite at 600 yet. So you're beating us, the main show. I mean, I say us. You're on the fucking show. You're main talent at this point on that. So, but yeah, you're the Wolf Takes a Bite is exploding in a way that I didn't see coming.
And it's such. I mean, which is great to see, since it is kind of a saturated market as far as content goes. But I think the fact that you come to the show with the premise that you're going to hear about something and you're going to learn something, and then you usually leave without either.
That's a really good point, because I remember when we were talking about it originally, and I had a lot of concerns reaching into this market, because it's one of the more saturated. Podcasting in general is saturated, but like this subject is everybody's doing it. And so when I started to do those episodes with you, and we started to get kind of our feel and our flow and our canon, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but I realized like it is a paranormal cryptid show, but you come for the laughs.
Yeah.
you come for maybe like, us talking about Hollow Earth or whatever, but you stay because of the laughs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then spreading the word, man. Like, that's been something that's been very difficult with this, which again comes back to that transistor rate where like we definitely have at least one guy in Germany who likes us.
Maybe that's Jack T.
Oh, dude, I haven't even got to that point yet. I wasn't going to mention that yet.
Yeah, well, we could do a little.
Oh, he'll get it in like every one of these episodes. We're so excited.
The first couple. John gave me a call, which, by the way, I was in the middle of a Fortnite.
I know. I said, I don't care what you're doing. It's not important as this, Devin.
Yeah. You called me. I was like, I will call you right back. And you were like, what did you say? You was like, how important is it? And I'm like, I'll call you right back.
Jess was like, he's probably getting late. I'm like, no, it's definitely not that.
No, it was too early in the day.
I'm like, he's definitely on Fortnite. She's like, how do you know? I'm like, I can see on my phone when he's on Xbox. She's like, that's creepy. I'm like, no, it's not.
It's a little creepy. It's a little creepy.
Xbox does it. I don't do it. It's not like I'm stalking you, Devin. Just a little bit.
Yeah. But I called you back, and then you hit me with some weird shit. And I wasn't entirely sure where the conversation was going.
What was the wording I said? It said, Devin, now I know this is going to be hard for you to hear, and I want you to be prepared for this because this is the first time it's ever happened to me.
And I need your opinion because you're my best friend. And I'm like, what the fuck?
There's this guy, Devin. And he wrote us a message. Jack T, first official message on the website sent to our show, my show, and said, I love the show. No more information than that.
Yeah.
But
because we tried to, by the way, Jack, if you're listening, we tried to reach out to you.
Oh, yeah. It wouldn't let me email you back. You got to give me contact info.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just saying, there could be something in it for you.
Yeah. So if you guys ever, if you want to hear back from us, make sure if you go to the website and you do give us some feedback or whatever on the website, make sure you leave an email address so that way we can contact you back.
Good thing to know from now on. Yeah.
It is cool that we have the option for anonymity.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, if you want, if the reason you're reaching out is to hear back from us, we will need a way to contact you.
Yeah, or you can reach out to us via directly our emails, Facebooks, Instagrams, Twitters.
Yeah, obviously.
Of the social media.
All the things that we usually plug. But yeah, the reaching out part, it was already hard on my end because I was already trying to start up these other shows. At the time we had Baldcasters, we had People Rants, we had Thoughts from Mothership, we had Down to Earth, and then we had Wolf Takes a Bite. So we were running 5 shows. This was way before gaming was. I mean, we knew we wanted to do gaming, but it was like years in the future. We had no idea we were going to be doing it this soon. But I didn't really have. I was already trying to build up, a platform for all these other shows. So I kind of leaned completely on you for reaching out.
Yeah, and it's still like a hard thing. I mean, really, it comes down to all of you guys. Like, your word of mouth is what's spreading this.
Yeah, podcasts live and die by word of mouth. So, the biggest thing that you guys can do for us is, liking and sharing and telling your friends. That's honest to God. That is and it's. I get it because I'm just as guilty of it too. I'll watch content and I won't click knowing how much more of an effect it can have on the creators, especially when we're as small as we are right now. I mean, we see every single like and comment, every single one.
But I can guarantee you that I will for sure see that message you sent to me on the website.
Sure will.
That motherfucker was loud and clear.
It went right to John's phone, which I'm glad we set it up. It went to my phone
and my iPad.
Yeah, I'm glad we set it up that way. The way that we wanted the shows to be able to set up is that, the people, the main people driving the show would get the email. So I'm glad you got it. I kind of expected all feedback to come to my email, but I'm so happy that you got it because the excitement in your voice.
It was 9:00 at night. So if I'm to make a suspicion here, or inspection, see, technical difficulties. If I am to make some kind of accusation here, I would state that based on the time of evening that I received it, it's very plausible that the person is either A, not in the United States, or B, on the western part of the United States.
It's possible. What episode do you think that they were they were listening to an episode? They were
I knew what episode. Yeah. It didn't say anything that. It was just Jack T. I love the show! Exclamation point.
Explanation point.
Explanation
I forgot about
point.
that.
Yeah, that's nice. Very important. So we're breaking this down. We're trying to decipher the code here. Maybe somebody is trapped in a basement and needs help.
But I also want to give a shout out to Mike. Mike, I don't want to say your last name, but he's been a huge fan of the show as well. He makes his way all the way to my restaurant after a couple episodes, and he'll come in and he doesn't even say hi. He's just like, vampires? And I'm like, bro, yeah. And I just love that I get to have that little interaction with a fan. He's such a diehard. Jack T apparently, and then Christina is like the three biggest outside of our company immediately. They're the biggest fans, and I can't thank you all for the support enough.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then always remember you can go to the greenmanmediaco.com and get some merch for the show that you love so much.
Code ship free on orders over $60 for free shipping. But anyway, guys, we just wanted we're going to be doing this for the next couple weeks while we're in between seasons. Again, we just wanted to keep reaching out to you guys, do a little bit of housekeeping, let you guys know what we're doing. So we'll see you all next week for another one of these little powwows.
I still got 3 more categories to go
for this episode.
Yeah.
Let's hit it up.
Okay, funny antics. What was the funniest thing that happened to us in season 1?
Oh no, that's next episode.
Okay, canon.
Okay, we can talk about the canon.
Yeah.
All right, so there's the canon of this show.
What about the canon of canon?
The canon of this show. First off, canon, when you first started bringing that to the show and saying it, you were using it completely wrong.
I know.
You were just saying things were canon, and I'm like, I don't think you know what that word means.
That's canon, Devin.
It is canon now.
Saying shit that doesn't make sense and pisses you off is canon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
But the canon of the show is real strange, and it's anybody who's listened to episode 1 to like the most recent episode, it's so strange to hear how it's evolved into what was originally like. I don't even know how I ended up in chains. Yeah. I know how I ended up into a guinea pig. That one made sense to me. I'm not sure.
That was a later development too. I think that was season 2.
Yeah, that might have been. But I don't know how I got here. And it was weird.
Well, I remember how that happened. So the way it started with that was that I was telling you what, like, in one episode, because I came up with an idea on air. This is before I started asking permission for anything. I'm just like, it's my show. I can say whatever I want to say. Cool. I was like, oh, here's an idea in the middle of a show. Devin, I'm going to take you somewhere that you're going to hate.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Even if I have to chain and bound you. So I think that's where that started. And then it evolved into you are now my prisoner in a basement drinking out of a hamster bottle the size of a corn silo. Yeah.
And I think that where really like the kind of background canon of the show, I think where it really amped up was Hollow Earth.
Yeah.
When me and you decided to do some Foley and everything, like sound effects.
It's really just like, mainly the canon of the show doesn't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense to you, that's fine, because it doesn't make sense to you either. But it's mainly there because it's a lot of inside jokes of shit that we continuously say to each other that just kind of fits its way into there because we're like, I don't know what to fucking say here.
Yeah.
Devin, you're in chains.
Yeah. Well, that was a great segue into like our inside jokes because like sometimes, and especially in the earlier parts of the show when we were incredibly inebriated.
And also a hoodie.
Yeah.
Catchphrases. That's right where we're at.
So there was a lot of things that were just said that we just kind of held on to.
Because it was funny in the moment.
Yeah. One of my favorite ones that pops up all the time is DB Cooper.
I'm DB Cooper.
Which originally came from a different show, but we completely hijacked it as our own. And especially when we did the DB Cooper episode, it was off the chains.
I invented the aeroplane.
Yeah, that one too. We kept saying these things, and when we got drunk, it was just, it was like, we haven't laughed in a few minutes. I'll just say this thing that for some reason we think is hilarious to us and only us.
But it still is.
It is.
At least to us.
But do you have a favorite catchphrase that you said throughout the season, or I said?
Man, that's really hard because honestly, I don't remember much of the season.
Because I know my absolute favorite.
Tell me yours first.
My absolute favorite, because it was just so incredibly. I don't know where it came from at all. Something happened, something was said, and you didn't know how to react. So you just go, I gotta go buy a Rubik's Cube.
Oh, yeah.
And that was, we made it a shirt.
I'm wearing the shirt.
You are wearing the shirt. It's gonna be up on the store eventually. We're working on making sure that this was like a first design that we have, but we're making sure that it's actually really good. It's my favorite.
And I think that's probably one of my favorites too. Even though like it doesn't show up a whole lot, it's not easy to organically just throw in there.
Which is why it's so fucking funny. Like I was so. What do you mean by that? Like, what do you mean? Like, that's the weirdest deflection I've ever heard. Like, I can't be here, guys. I gotta go buy a Rubik's Cube. What? It's like, I gotta go feed my cat. Nope. I gotta go buy a Rubik's Cube. There's so many more questions that I need to answer.
I don't even know why that came into my brain.
I have no idea. It was so good.
I was like, what's weird, smart, and funny? That, a Rubik's Cube. That's it.
Yeah, there's that. I mean,
I think the one I've been using a lot, actually, if you listen to the newer episodes, obviously you have if you're here. I hope. But no, I think so. Like, I don't even know what catchphrases I have. I just know what Devin has because I edit these episodes, and I'm like, oh, there's another one of Devin's catchphrases. I better move that right here.
Yeah,
I better highlight that one.
The folder of catchphrases that he has is.
Big.
There's easily 40 items, and like 90% of them is shit I said, and I don't know, like most of them aren't even funny to me, but for some reason you get a huge kick out of it.
Yeah, there was at least one episode where I took actually 70 different things that you said and clipped out of those episodes, and I'm just like, that could be a button. No, it's not gonna be a button, but I want to hear it sometimes. And it's just like things that Devin says, like, actually you have one on the board.
I've got a few of them.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Hit the fucking button.
Today I'm choosing violence.
That one I really enjoy. Also, I've been using this in the beginning episodes because I just think it fits so well to the canon of the show.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Do you believe?
I was so drunk, and I can hear it in my voice. I'm like, oh my god, I was shit faced when I said that. Yeah, but because we were clearly having like I'm trying to get to the bottom. You're trying to read your notes, but drunk Devin doesn't give a fuck because I'm just like, I need to know now if you believe in this nonsense. So, do you believe?
Yeah, and then you know what? That's a good way to finalize this episode too. Is that for the canon of this entire show used to be, how much can I fuck with John until he messes up on air? And make him edit.
Yeah, there was a really long period of time where...
Very long.
Yeah, and it was all alcohol fused.
It was a little passive-aggressively angry, honestly.
Well, it was because... And I'll tell you exactly where... Well, I know you know, but I'll let them know why. It's because the stuff that we were talking about, especially at first, because the way that we were approaching it was that you were coming at it I completely believe in this subject 100%. I don't care what the evidence is. I believe in this. And I'm just sitting there like, how? Like, how can you believe everything? And that's how I was approaching it. Right, that helps. So that was upsetting me, and I would get angry, and I was like, how? Because no matter what I said to you, it didn't matter. You just still believed. And I was like, how can I fuck with him? Oh, I know. I'll just make these edits the worst nightmare possible. So we'd go off into tangents. Some things probably could have even stayed in, but I'd look at you and be like, that has to be cut.
Wait, I could have left some of this shit in? Are you serious?
The raws, right?
Oh, god damn it.
Yeah, maybe one day we'll put
There's so many things I was like, he's going to fire me if I don't cut this.
Fire you.
But I want to keep this in so bad.
Fire you.
Canceled.
Yeah. Cool. Well, did you get through everything?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. In that case, we will be doing a few more of these over the next couple weeks while we prepare season 3, which we're going to talk about season 3 and all of its.
As we get closer.
Yeah, it's going to be wild.
Yeah,
I'm super excited.
Oh yeah. We're starting that today.
Yeah. Yeah, we have all the cameras and lighting set up right now.
Like, it's kind of wild, honestly. Honestly, and yours is a little bright on you. You need to dim that one out.
I'll fix it in post. I'm not worried about it.
I hope so.
So if you guys are here along with us, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being part of what we do. Jess is messing with the mouse.
Other screen. There you go.
But anyway, yeah, just thank you so much for being a part of Gray Man and specifically Wolf Takes a Bite. And I really hope you guys enjoy season 3.
Yeah, thanks for listening and stay tuned. And we'll see you on the next one. Remember, question everything. Hey, it's John Wolf, and if you enjoyed that, you can listen to the rest of this episode whenever you listen to podcasts at. Also, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification icon, and never miss another episode. And for all things Wolf Takes a Bite, go to GraymanMediaCo.com.